this time with Apple on pole and Bandit, his teammate, alongside. We're about to go green here in Austria. The Red Bull ring, green, 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 and the cars are off. And it looked like a false start from Apple actually. He's bogged down off the line, he's losing countless positions. And looking there, Buick's looking down the outside. There's contact with them and Bo, and it's going to be Bandit who leads them off through turn 1. Bo's going to have the slipstream though. That Mercedes is looking good in a straight line. Will he be able to do anything as they make their way up towards turn 2? Apple trying to fight and hold on for 5th. Bandit doing a very good job there, and Bo's actually capitalising, coming under a bit of pressure from Buick. And side by side in the back as well are Waddles and Apple. So Bandit doing a fantastic job, and Bo's going to dive it down the inside of turn 3. This contact. Bandit does well to keep it out of the gravel, but loses the position. And they're going to lose another one to Buick, are they? Looks like Buick's just about hanging around the outside. They're still side by side though, is Bandit and Buick. But it's Bo Fushidara who leads us off. And indeed Buick does get out ahead of Bandit at the end of it. So a complete shuffle of the order on lap 1 as Bo now makes his way through the last 2 turns. Starting to get a little bit of a gap. A bit further back there you can see Waddles coming under pressure, and Bandit loses it completely. So Bandit has no doubt picked up damage from that. We're going to have a replay of what happened at the start. This is from Wybear's perspective. We can really see Apple losing a lot of positions, and Wybear very late on the brakes. Oh, a bit of a sandwich and lots of contact. Wybear gets sent to Narnia from behind. And then we're going to watch what happened. And that was Gugas getting absolutely no-scoped by Mika. But Mika coming out of nowhere, and Bo's off on the grass. Bo's off on the grass, and they're losing loads of positions and time. Waddle's looking to get up into second. First place has now gone the way of Buick. Will Bo manage to try something going into turn 2? No. So Bo loses 2 positions from that, although Waddles does run wide. And the Mercedes had the better acceleration, he gets back in front. Now watching Gentleman Racing trying to close down on Apple, but also King starting to get involved in this. They're side by side as they make their way down towards turn 1 yet again. And King later on the brakes, just marginally, they're still side by side, bit of contact. Gentleman Racing on the tarmac on the outside, the runoff. And now we'll have the slipstream to try something in return. King goes defensive to the inside, but this is a corner where you can quite easily get a switchback. King later on the brakes positions his car perfectly to prevent the switchback. And now King trying to challenge Apple, going through the last 2 turns at this stage. Someone's in the pit lane. We're going to an onboard of King of Torque's car. Apple didn't get the best of runs through there. King certainly a bit faster. Give him a little bit of a squeeze to the inside apex, but it doesn't look like Apple's going to be able to do much. There's yellow flags out as well actually, so that's Mika just coming out of the pit lane. So repairing that damage that they picked up, the contact from Gugas. Meanwhile, King now trying to overtake their teammate, and does so very easily. And Bo nearly losing it again. Indeed, the same place where they lost it before. They're back on the grass and they've lost the position again. Bit of a sketchy rejoin. Waddles just about avoids running into the back of them. Bo managing to get back ahead of Waddles at this particular stage. So King has a bit of work to do. He's going to start hunting down Buick in first. Meanwhile, I looked a bit further back. Gentleman Racing's going on a move down the inside of Apple. Gets that done nicely. Good move. Meanwhile, Apple just coming out of the pits, it would seem, being caught by Gugas. So Gugas going for a run up the hill. We're going on board with the Portuguese driver. Will he be able to set something up? You can see the speed that he's carrying. He brakes later than Apple. As going to try the inside. They're still side by side at this point. Gugas will have the inside for turn 3, and in fact is already ahead. Oh, Apple back in the slipstream. He's gonna just stay out of it, and in fact Gugas runs wide. Gugas is off the track. He's in the gravel. He just lost that position of his own mistake, and Bo again. This time at the top of the hill at turn 2. Just getting it wrong, and Gentleman as well. What happened with Gentleman's case? Instead of the inside curb, it was the outside curb that spat them out into the wall. So Buick still leads, but there you can see the gap. It's next to nothing with King of Torque. King's looking to the inside of turn 2. It just about keep it clean, and the drive from the Audi just seemed immense out of the exit of turn 2. Oh, but it's round wide on the exit of the last corner, and King now manages to get ahead. Will Buick be able to do anything in retaliation? No, he sticks behind for now, and probably knows that it's going to be a lot better to try and get a run up into turn 2 with this longer straight. So Buick indeed, look, he's got the inside, but will King try and do the old switchback? He can't quite because of the positioning, and that's Buick who manages to take the position again, but now King's back down the inside and bails for the pits, so trying to get an undercut, and Buick now coming out the pits. And they have indeed lost the position to King on the pit stops. Meanwhile, Apple trying to get back at Waddles. They're heading towards turn 3 as we speak. They're side by side. Apple on the outside line. Waddles has the inside but brakes earlier, and Apple manages to get the position. Moves up to 4th. These two fighting, of course, for the championship. They're currently at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, King of Torque making moves on Bo as Bo gets it a little bit wrong. Now coming across the line yet again, but Bo isn't finished here. He's already got the inside and is just about a nose in front. King's going to try and hold it around the outside of turn 1, and does so brilliantly. Fantastic stuff from King of Torque. Bo will probably have another chance going up towards turn 2 again. Indeed, he goes for the inside, and King just about managing to hold on to it again, but the drive of the BMW off turn 2 isn't as great as the Audi that we saw earlier, so it's still side by side. In fact, the Merc seems to have a slight edge on top speed, but King's still going to try and hang it round the outside. They're still side by side. This is fantastic racing between the two of them. Is he still there? No, it looks like King's just about managed to take the position. Meanwhile, we're going to a replay of what happened to Gentleman Race. It just seemed to go straight on. Was that like steering failure or something? And into the tyre barrier. Really unfortunate stuff for the Saxton driver. Now Bo seeming to have dropped back a bit now behind Apple, but no longer behind Apple as they're side by side going through turn 1, getting a bit of a recovery. Meanwhile, King is caught up to Buick. There's a little bit of contact through turn 3, but they're side by side. Of course, we've seen that the Audi is very strong on the acceleration out the slow corners, but through this mid-speed stuff, the BMW seems to have the stability, as King nearly pushed off into the gravel but manages to keep on the track. Buick still defending very hard, going on board with King of Torque's car. Just hanging back, trying to get the better exit, and indeed does so. And he's down the inside, oversteered, a bit of smoke kicked up, but he's just about managed to get ahead. So King of Torque is our new race leader. Can Buick manage to stay with him? Buick is looking to the inside, and there's contact is there, and that's King's round. So we need another perspective on that. We're going on board with Buick's car. It looked like he was oversteering a bit anyway, but the contact certainly didn't help. As they also see John Wondering being lapped in the bright yellow skull candy machine of Moonshine Motorsports. Apple gets it wrong on the infield section. That's allowing Waddles to catch up. And nothing Apple can do after that mistake. Waddles up into 4th. These two know that every single championship point they score at this stage could mean the difference between winning or losing the championship. Waddles, that was extremely close to running Apple off, but just enough racing room. Fantastic racing between these two championship rivals. As King is now looking to the inside of Buick. This is where we've seen the Audi generally have the strength on the run out of turn 2. But on this occasion, not the kind of strength that we've seen previous, as King was able to stay alongside, but now trying to look to the inside of turn 3. Again, very respectful at this stage. As Buick comes across the track, and they've opened the door for King. So King's down the inside of the infield. There's a little bit of contact again between the two of them, but King has just about managed to get ahead. Well, what's Buick gonna do now? He's all over the back of King. Getting a little bit of contact. These guys right on their limits. And King just trying to break the slipstream a little bit. Goes to the inside wall, also being a bit defensive in that regard. Buick's gonna look to the inside anyway. King gets back across to the racing line. And continues holding on to that position as we are now on the last lap of this race. So Buick has it all to do. King of Torque doing a good job defending. Oh, a little bit of a lock up, and Buick has sent it, and there's major contact as they make their way through turn 2, and Buick would take that position. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th is still on between Waddles and Apple. Apple, he takes to a little bit of the grass. That's going to put dirt on the tyres as he tries to go around the outside of turn 2. And just about manages to keep alongside. And in fact has managed to get ahead of Waddles. So Waddles will need to try something going into turn 3. He's running out of time. Apple just about holds on for now. They're heading towards the infield. These two couldn't be separated by anything more. Now going for an onboard of Waddles. Just seeing what he's going to do here. He's going down the inside. And in fact he will manage to keep that position. So fantastic job by Waddles. Apple still looking to try for the outside. It's still side by side between these two rivals, and Waddles just about holds on. But of course this is the lead battle again. Buick currently leads through a bit of a sketchy means. We've reached the hour marker, and it's 2 corners away from home, and it will be Buick coming across the line in first, unless he makes some kind of mistake. But he runs wide. King also runs wide, seems to get a better exit. It's flashing his lights, but it is Buick who comes across the line on the road on first. We've been given a penalty by the stewards, which actually means that our race winner in the end is King of Torque, so congratulations to them. Car 98 again, top step at the podium, racking up the points. He's certainly looking to be in with a decent shout of the title. Bo comes home in 3rd. Waddles eventually comes home 4th, ahead of Apple in 5th. That concludes round 9 of DRL DTM. Thanks for watching.